Welcome back, guys. It is week 16 in the NFL, so you know what that means. Time for my best bets, time for my predictions for all the games. It's been one hell of a season. I've been in the green the majority of the NFL season, and let's talk about being in the green. Last week, week 15, I went 12-4 against the spread. You heard that right, 12-4 against the spread for all the games. My best bets went 2-1, so still above 500, but all my predictions for week 15 went 12-4. So if you followed me, you made yourself a nice little profit. And with that, guys, if you could like and subscribe, it'll go a long way, helps this small channel out, giving out free picks. I do my homework on these picks. I'm not just pulling them out of my ass. I really sit down and do my homework and get the best information out to you guys. So with that, let's get started with week 16. If you want my week 16 Thursday night football picks and my Monday night football picks, I put those on my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube shorts. So if you want to check those out, go right ahead. But let's get it going. Hopefully we do as good as we did last week. Just like I said, 12-4 last week. It's great. Made myself a great profit. So let's get after it. Week 16, the NFL. And our first matchup, we have the Texans versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs being favored by 3 points and the over-under being 41.5. The Texans are coming off a good win against the Dolphins. They also clinched their division, so congrats to them. The Chiefs are coming off a loss to the Browns, but in that game, Mahomes did hurt his ankle, but I believe he got sacked. But regardless, he hurt his ankle, mild ankle sprain, so keep an eye out for that. He may not play this game. Looks like he is, but keep an eye out for it. Let's start with the Texans. Even though they clinched their division, there's something that still seems off for them. They really do miss Diggs, They do have good weapons in Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Mixon, but you can tell they do miss Diggs. And also, like I said, their offensive line is terrible. Their offensive line is not as good as we thought it was going to be. Stroud was sacked 10 times in the last 3 games, and I believe he's one of the top quarterbacks getting sacked the most. So his offensive line has been crap all year long. He's having an okay year, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But the bread and butter for the Texans, their bread and butter is that they get after the quarterback. I believe they're number 2 in sacks out of the whole NFL. I think the Broncos are the only team that's ahead of them. And their secondary is actually above average to good too, so it's not bad there. But they like getting after the quarterback, which is good because the Chiefs, well, they're having a left tackle problem. You never know who's playing. And whoever is playing, they're not doing a good job. The Chiefs, like I said, Mahomes is hurt. They might start Carson Wentz, so keep an eye out for that. And Carson Wentz, not a good starter, but I guess he's one of the better backups in the league. The Chiefs, they may also get a weapon back in Hollywood Brown. He was their acquisition in the offseason. I think he got hurt in the preseason. He didn't play one game this year, but now he's finally back for this game, which is good. I know the Chiefs fans don't like to admit it, but Travis Kelce is slower. Hopkins is slower, so you need Hollywood Brown to come back. He's probably has some rust, to knock some rust off him, but they need this weapon. Like I said, Houston may have Houston does have a bad offensive line, but the Chiefs, they're ranked 21st at getting after the quarterback, so they're not really second the quarterback this year. They are below average. It doesn't really matter who's starting for this team, Carson Wentz or Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs just don't cover spreads this year. They just don't. And that's with Patrick Mahomes starting at QB. They just have the trouble pitting teams away this year. I know they covered against the Browns. Who cares? The Browns, Winston was throwing interceptions like it was going out of style. So I like Stroud in this position. I like the Houston's defense to get after whoever's playing quarterback for the Chiefs and pay attention to it. I like Houston plus the 3 points. I even like him more if Carson Wentz is the quarterback. He's not that great. He plays a little too much hero ball, so they're probably going to be running the ball a lot, and I think this game will be close because there's going to be a lot of running during this matchup. So give me the Houston Texans to cover, plus the 3 points. But now we have the battle of the AFC North. We have the Steelers versus the Ravens. Ravens being favored by 6 points and the over-under being 45.5. Steelers are coming off a loss to the Eagles, and the injury bug has bit the Steelers. TJ Watt has an ankle injury. Their cornerback Jackson, he's out for the game, and George Pickens, he didn't practice on Wednesday. So if George Pickens does not play this game, it's not good news for the Steelers, because without George Pickens, the Steelers offense is like stale bread. No explosiveness. So they need him to play, because they were exposed by the Eagles how boring their offense and how there's no explosiveness. The Eagles exposed that, and the Ravens can too if he doesn't play. The Steelers need this win. They're one game ahead of the Ravens and ahead of the division for first place. So they need to win this game. With George Pickens or without him, they need to win this game. Their other weapons are just above average. Najee Harris, he's an above average running back, and their tight end, he's just an above average tight end. So there's not a lot of weapons outside of Pickens. The Ravens are coming off a blowout win against the Giants. They're 2-2 in their last 4 games. And the Ravens, they still have one of the best offenses in this league. They have Lamar Jackson. And by the way, when you compare Lamar Jackson's numbers to Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson's numbers look way better than Josh Allen's. Okay, I don't know about way better, but they are better than Josh Allen's. So I don't know how Josh Allen's just running away this MVP race, because I think Lamar Jackson should be neck and neck with him, because the Ravens are also going to make the playoffs as well. And Lamar is killing it this year. So keep an eye out for that. I don't think Josh Allen should just be running away with the MVP race. But I digress. The Ravens still have King Henry, Zay Flowers. They have 2 good tight ends in Likely and Andrews. So there's weapons galore for the Ravens. The last time these teams played, I believe it was a score of 18-15 with the Steelers winning. It was in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won the game without scoring no offensive touchdowns, all field goals. So, I expect the game to be like that, because even though the Steelers are probably going to be without Pickens, they always play the Ravens tough. They play Henry tough, and they play Lamar Jackson tough. So I think we're going to have a close game here. The Steelers have won each of their last 6 games as underdogs against the Ravens, and the Ravens have failed to cover the spread in 7 of their 8 home games against AFC North opponents. And also, the Ravens are just 2-3-1 against the spread as home favorites this year in general. And don't forget, Mike Tomlin is the underdog king against the spread. The guy just covers spreads when he's the underdog. Now, I know he didn't cover against the Eagles, but I believe the Eagles and the Steelers are just in a different class than them. They're in the A category, and the Steelers are in the B category. So that's why I think the Eagles covered that game. But I think the Ravens and Steelers are, they always fight each other really well. So with that, I think the best play here, because the Steelers do not have George Pickens in this game, and I think because the Steelers still have a good defense, and they always play Lamar Jackson tough, and they always play King Henry tough, I think the under 45.5 is the best play here. I think it's going to be a hard fought AFC North game, and I think it's going to go under the 45.5. And if I had to choose a winner of these 2 teams, I'd probably take Pittsburgh plus the 6.5, but I think the best bet is the under 45.5. Now we have the battle for Lake Michigan. We have the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears. Detroit being favored by 6.5 and the over-under being 48. Lions are coming off a loss to the Bills. It was a really great game. But man, oh man, oh man, are the Detroit Lions, their injuries just keep on stacking up. They lost David Montgomery for the year. Their big power back, he's a really good running back. Him and Gibbs were the best running back combo in the league. So losing him is going to hurt. I know Gibbs is having a great year, but losing Montgomery, losing that power right at the goal line, they're going to miss that. They're also their defensive tackle, Aleem McNeil. He is out as well. Good defensive tackle. And he was put on the IR. And their cornerback, Davis III, he's in the IR as well. And Dorsey, their other cornerback, he was put on the IR as well. So they're just running out of horses. They're just running out of guys, man. I don't know. The practice squad might be depleted too. That's how many guys they're missing. Brian Branch is questionable for this game. He didn't practice on Wednesday, and their starting guard is also questionable for this game. You want to talk about a mess? Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are 4-2, And then they go into the bye week and you're thinking, hey, they're getting more healthy. They're game planning better, right? At 4-2, they get off the bye and they go straight down the shitter and lose 8 straight games. It's unbelievable. In that time, the whole season, Caleb Williams has been sacked 58 times. The guy can't even get a playoff. As soon as he says hike, he's getting sacked. He could be in the shotgun. He could say hike, he gets sacked. He could be 20 yards down the field. They could long snap him the ball, and Caleb Williams would still get sacked. That's how bad that offensive line is. It's unreal. And you want to talk about how bad the Bears are since the bye week? They're 32nd in total QBR allowed. They're 32nd in yards after the catch per reception allowed. They're 32nd in yards per completion allowed. They're 31st in QB's time to throw from the pocket per pass. They're 31st in first downs allowed per pass attempt. They're 31st in yards per drive. They're 31st in drives that result in points, and they're 30th in pass rush win rate. So the Bears are a god-awful mess. It's like an explosion and nobody wants to pick up the parts. They're just laying everywhere. With all that, this game is still hard to predict for me. The Lions defense, I've said it already, they're all depleted. It's hurt as hell. They got the popcorn vendor guy playing defensive back, okay? The Bears, they're just a mess. Their players are zigging while their coaches are zagging. You don't know what the hell's going on with the Bears. So this game is hard to predict. People are just going to assume to take the Lions to cover the number, but I'm not so for sure about that. So I think the best bet of this game is under 48. I truly do believe the under 48 is going to hit. I think everybody's going to think the Lions are going to blow out the Bears, but I think this is going to be a tighter game than people think. I'm thinking it's going to be a 27-20 game for the Lions, but I think that stays under that number, under 48. So this game, it's going to be a great game, I think, but I think it's going to be a little crazy. I don't know who to choose because both these teams are just a mix mash mess, and one other team is just hurt as hell. But I think the best bet here is under 48, and if I had to choose a team to win this, I'll take Detroit, cover the 6.5, but the best bet, in my opinion, under 48. So now we have the Battle of Ohio. We have the Browns versus the Bengals. Bengals being favored by 7.5, and the over-under being 47. Browns are coming for loss to the Chiefs, and now they're going to replace Jameis Winston with DTR, which I think is a bad mistake. I think Winston gives him the best chance to win. I know he's throwing interceptions galore, but you know what? Who cares? You guys have a terrible record as it is. Put in the guy who slings the ball, who gets fans to watch and gives some fans hope, like, hey, he might strain out this game and he might throw for 300 some yards and we might win it. No, they put in DTR. DTR, he's not a good passer. He likes to use his legs more than he likes to use his arm. He was a 5th round pick or 6th round pick, I believe, in the draft. In the last 7 games, the Browns have only covered 2 of them. And with DTR, like I said, I think everything's going to go down. Jerry Jeudy's not going to get the ball that well. Moore, Tillman, who's going to play this game, he's back. All these 3, you have all these weapons, and now you put a quarterback in there who's going to have a hard time getting the ball to them. They're a good tight end. David Njoku, I can't say his name. He's questionable. He didn't practice on Wednesday. Like I said, Cedric Tillman was limited in practice on Wednesday, but they're confident that he will play the game. And, just give you a little sample of DTR. In his rookie year last year, he passed for 440 yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions. So, like I said, I don't know why they're putting him in there. He's a 3rd round quarterback for a reason. He's a 3rd string quarterback for a reason. With the Bengals, they're coming off a good win against the Titans. Before that, they beat the Dallas Cowboys, so on a 2-game winning streak. Joe Burrow, this guy, he's having an amazing year. I have him on fantasy, so I know he's having an amazing year. He'd be the MVP candidate right now, leading the way if his team didn't suck. The Bengals have covered the spread in each of their last 7 games against teams that held a losing record. And so I think that's right there. I think the writing's on the wall. DTR is not a good QB. All the Bengals have to do is stop the run, stop Ford. Nick Chubb is out for the game. He's out for the rest of the year. So all they have to do is stop Ford, stop DTR from running the ball, because DTR will run the ball. So if they stop the run, I think Cincinnati covers this number easy. So give me Cincinnati to cover the 7.5. I also like Jamar Chase to go over 86.5 yards. And I also like Jerome Ford, the running back for the Browns, to get an anytime touchdown. But the best bet is the Bengals to cover the 7.5. We have another great matchup here. We have my Philadelphia Eagles versus the Commanders. Eagles being favored by 3.5 and the over-under being 45.5. Eagles are coming off a big win against the Steelers. I told you guys the Eagles would cover the game, and they did. And the Commanders are coming off a close win against the crappy Saints, which I couldn't believe. That it was not a good look for the Commanders defense, because they had no Derek Carr, and then the running back Kamara was hurt in the game as well. So the Saints almost came back and won that game with a bunch of nobodies. Let's keep this one short and simple. The Commanders lost Noah Brown, their second best wide receiver after Scary Terry. Zach Ertz is probably not going to play this game with a concussion. Their starting safety, Jeremy Chin, is probably not going to play this game either with he's injured as well. So those are two big injuries for the Commanders. The Eagles are almost all healthy. They get back one of their pass rushers back in Bryce Huff. So there's more firepower to this defense. And the Commanders are 25th against the run. And so I think Barkley is going to have a hell of a game against them. And you know he wants to get that record, the most rushing yards in the season. You know he wants that record. And the Eagles know if they win this game, they win the division. So, like I said, I think the Eagles are going to cover this game. The Eagles have covered the spread in each of their last 5 road games. They're really good on the road. So give me the Eagles to cover the 3.5. They want this division, and Barkley wants to have that rushing record. So give me the Eagles to cover the 3.5. And our next matchup, we have the Rams versus the Jets. Rams being favored by 3.5 and the over-under being 46.5. Rams are coming off a win against the 49ers. Before that, they beat the Bills, and they're on a 3-game winning streak, so really good wins by the Rams. The Rams, they get another piece to their offense. They get their starting tight end back, Tyler Higbee. He's making his season debut, and that's really great. He's really good in the blocking, and he's really good at catching. So just a great addition they're getting with already a powerful offense that they have already. And they also might get their best corner back for this game. Their best corner, Kobe Durant. He didn't play last week, so he's questionable for this game. So if he plays, that's great. They get their best corner and they get their starting tight end back for this game, possibly. The Jets finally got a win. They broke their 4-game winning streak. Aaron Rodgers has been great the last 2 games. He's thrown for 628 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But besides that, my God, is anybody tired of Aaron Rodgers yet? The guy goes on Pat McAfee talking about vaccines and all this shit, and then he's talking about Ryan Clark of ESPN, and then he does that stupid Netflix documentary that I'm not gonna watch. Like, dude, you play for the Jets, you know that, right? You play for a team that needs your help. You're like, can you focus on that, not focus on all this other crazy shit? My God, like, I know Jets fans are tired of him. They probably want his ass gone. I don't blame them. Jets get back one of their best corners back from groin injury in DJ Reed, which is really great because, as we all know, the Rams have 2 really great wide receivers in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. So having Sauce Gardner and this DJ Reed corner, having them back, that's really great. Now they can actually, try to keep up with those corners and with those wide receivers. No, I believe this is going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be tougher than people think. I think people believe because the Rams are in first place to take over the NFC West, I think they're getting a lot of hype, and which they should. They're finally getting really healthy, and they look really good. But I believe the Jets are rolling a little bit. They get their best cornerback. Aaron Rodgers is actually playing really good in the last 2 games. Him and Adams looks like they built that connection. They reconnected that connection they had back in Green Bay. Adams looked good last week. So I think the best bet is over 46.5. I think the Rams will be able to score on the Jets defense, even though they have two good corners. I think it's going to be a little too hard to stop both those wide receivers. And I think Devontae Adams and Wilson are going to have a good game against the Rams secondary. So I think the best play here is over 46.5. And if I was going to choose a winner, I'd probably lean towards the Rams to cover the 3.5. But I think the best bet is definitely the over 46.5. And this is a good matchup here. We have the Cardinals versus the Panthers. Cardinals being favored by 4.5 and the over-under being 47. Cardinals are coming off a blowout win against the Patriots, and the Panthers coming off a loss to the Cowboys. I thought the Panthers being favored in that game was just absurd, but they lose that game and we called it. Let's keep this one short and simple as well. Both of these teams suck. They're not good. I told you guys when the Cardinals were in first place, don't buy the hype. Do not buy the hype. That defense is not going to be able to last that long. It got better as the season, progressed, but they're still an average defense. And outside McBride and O'Connor, they really don't have any weapons. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's inconsistent. He's still a rookie. He looks like a rookie. So, I'm not putting a lot of faith in him just yet. The Cardinals, though, they still have more to fight for. They're 7-7. They have an outside chance to, still win the NFC West. And the Panthers star rookie, Xavier Legette, he's doubtful for this game. So he's doubtful. They're going to really depend on Chuba Hubbard in this game and Adam Thielen. But I don't like it. The Panthers came back to earth. Arizona has more to fight for. I'll take Kyle Murray, the better quarterback, the better tight end in McBride than any of the Panthers' offensive players. So I believe this game is going to be a low-scoring game. I think the Arizona does cover, but I think the best bet is under 47. I think the Panthers are actually going to have a hard time to score on the Cardinals. I could see this game being 24-17, but I think the Cardinals do cover, but I think the best bet is under 47. Now we have the Giants versus the Falcons. Falcons being favored by 8.5 and the over-under being 42.5. Giants are coming off a blowout loss against the Ravens. They're on a 9-game losing streak. The quarterback carousel just keeps on happening. Now Drew Lock is the starting quarterback over Tommy DeVito. They rank dead last in the NFL in points scored, and they're second to last in yards per play. Falcons are coming off a close win against the Raiders. Falcons are now moving off Kirk Cousins, and now they will be starting the rookie Michael Penix Jr., which is, very surprising. I mean, Cousins not having a good year. I believe he has 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. It's really close. I know he leads the league in interceptions, and he kept the Raiders in that game because he just does not look himself anymore. Looks like age has caught up to Kirk Cousins. So they start the rookie. Falcons have great weapons, but Kirk wasn't giving it to them. They have Drake London, Mooney, B.J. Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier. They have weapons galore. Atlanta has only scored just 72 points in the last 5 games. That's nuts, because if you think of teams like Detroit or the Bills, they put that up at almost 2 games alone. So only scoring 72 points in 5 games like the Falcons did, that is pretty terrible. The Falcons are 2-4 at home as favorites. I know the Giants are terrible, but I'm not going to put all my faith in a rookie quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., okay? I think you're nuts to just think they're going to Michael Penix is going to light it up. I think the Falcons are going to do a heavy dose of running. I think B.J. Robinson is a shoo-in for anytime touchdown. I think him and Tyler Algier, they're just going to get a ton of rushes. So, I'm not just going to put my faith in Michael Penix. So I think the best bet is the under. I think the Falcons can hold the Giants from doing anything. And I think, Michael Penix is going to have some rookie, mishaps. He's going to miss guys. He's going to overthrow them or maybe throw an interception here and there. And I think the Falcons are going to run the ball all the time, and that's going to take time off the clock. The under is 9-5 and Atlanta's last 14 games, and the under is also 9-5 in the Giants' 14 games. So these guys are hitting the under like nobody's business. So I think that's the best bet. So give me the under 42.5 in this matchup. Now we have the Titans versus the Colts. The Colts being favored by 3.5 and the over-under being 42.5. Titans are coming off a loss to the Bengals. They're moving off Will Levis again. They're putting Mason Rudolph in there. Most of their offense weapons are beat up. Tyler Boyd, Westbrook, their other wide receiver, and Tony Pollard are all hurt, and they didn't practice on Thursday. So keep an eye on that. They have a good defense. That's the only thing the Titans have going for them. They're allowing the second fewest total yards per game. The Titans have only scored 20 points or under in the last 11 games. That's pretty goddamn terrible. And the Colts are coming off a loss to the Broncos. Their Anthony Richardson did not look good in that game whatsoever. He threw 2 interceptions. Jonathan Taylor, Jonathan Taylor, he had such a bonehead of a move. He's rushing the ball, and right as he's about to score the touchdown, well, he could just walk in, he drops the ball at the goal line or before it crosses the goal line, and it becomes a touchback. What a dumb move by Jonathan Taylor. This game comes down to what QB on each team will play the most competent. Will it be Mason Rudolph or will it be Anthony Richardson? The Titans, they've lost 14 of their last 15 Sunday road games. And the Colts have gone 4-0 against the spread against their own division. So with that, give me the healthier offense. Their wide receivers, they're healthy. They're not on the injury report. Jonathan Taylor, he's healthy. He's not on the injury report. And the Titans have a bunch of their offensive weapons all banged up. So give me the Colts to cover the 3.5. Now we have a good matchup here. We have the Vikings versus the Seahawks. Vikings being favored by 3 points and the over-under being 43.5. Vikings are coming off a blowout win against the Bears. They're on a 7-game winning streak. The Vikings are one of the best teams at sacking the quarterback. They're in the top 5, and the Vikings are 5-1 on the road so far. The offense, they're full of weapons. We don't have to repeat them. Good wide receivers, good tight end, and now they're using Cam Akers a lot. So now they have a good 1-2 punch running back in Aaron Jones and Cam Akers. The Seahawks, they're coming off a blowout loss to the Packers. Geno Smith did get hurt in that game. He did leave, and they did put Sam Howell in. But Geno looks like he's going to play the game. He practiced the last 2 days. So it looks like Geno Smith will play this game. So, we all know the Seahawks have weapons as well, just like the Vikings. Good wide receiving core the Seahawks have, and a solid 1-2 running back punch in Walker and Charbonnet. Walker is questionable for this game as well. He didn't play the last 2 games, so keep an eye on that. So with this game, I think the Seahawks, they have their backs against the wall. They know they have to keep up with the Rams. Rams are in first place. The Seahawks are behind them. They know they have to win this game. After losing the Packers, they're losing the slip. They're using their grasp on the NFC West because now the Rams have it right now. And, the Vikings, a little tidbit here, the Vikings, they haven't played a top 12 defense since week 7. So they haven't been tested just yet. I know they have great weapons, don't get me wrong, but they haven't played a top 12 defense. The Seahawks are the 11th ranked defense. So this game has playoff matchup written all over it. And I think it's going to be a close game. I really think it's going to be a close game. I think a lot of people are going to jump on the Vikings, and they're going to drive this number even more up. And I think it'll be a good time to buy the Seahawks. So give me the Seahawks to cover the 3 points. If you get it at 3.5, take it. Take the hook, or even 4, take it. I think this is going to be a playoff type kind of game. It's going to be in Seattle. It may be raining, and the Seahawks have their back against the wall, and they have to win this game. I'm not going to say they're going to win it, but I like them to cover, and I like at 3, but try to get at 3.5. I'm going to try to get at 3.5. But I think the Seahawks cover I think they cover this game plus the 3.5 points. Now we have the Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills. Bills being favored by 14 points and the over-under being 46.5. Let's make this pretty simple. The Bills are coming off a good win against the Lions. They beat one of the best teams in the NFL. And the Bills have scored 30 points or more in 8 straight games. And the Bills are chasing the Chiefs for the number 1 seed. And they know they have a chance now because Patrick Mahomes is a little banged up. And the Bills have won each of their last 10 home games against AFC East opponents. And the Patriots, they're just fighting for pride. Drake May is showing people he can do it, rookie quarterback. He uses his legs a lot. He has over 350 yards rushing. I believe he might have over 400 yards rushing. They got some weapons. They like to use their tight ends a lot in Hunter Henry and Hooper. And they have, below average to average wide receivers. And so it's not that great of a team, but it's not too bad. It's, there's more worse offensive teams in this league. Well, actually, there may not be. But you know what? Drake May is trying to make lemonade out of lemons. And like I said, he uses his legs a lot. So, you know what? I think the Bills, they continue and they will put another 30 piece on the Patriots. But you know what? I'm not a big fan of this Bills defense as well. I am not a fan of the Bills defense. So I think they will put up 30 plus points against the Patriots. But I think the Patriots are going to put up more than 2 touchdowns against the Bills. So I think the best play is over 46.5. I think the Bills may cover the 14 points, but I think that they get over this number 46.5 easily. So give me the over in the Patriots versus Bills game. This matchup, it's god awful. We're going to keep this short and simple. We have the Jaguars versus the Raiders. The Jaguars being favored by 1.5 and the over-under being 40.5. This is the battle of the bums. Both these teams, they both are looking to get the first pick in the next year's draft or this coming draft. So, who wants to actually win? I don't know. They're both terrible teams. I think the best bet is over 40.5. And I like the Raiders money line as well, even though they're a slight underdog. But I actually like Aiden O'Connell more than I like Mac Jones. I really do. I think Brock Bowers is going to have a good game. I like Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. I know they have Brian Thompson Jr. here, but I don't like Mac Jones. They don't have Ingram at tight end as well. So I like the over 40.5 in this game, but I also like Raiders money line straight up to win this as well. This game is going to be awful, terrible. I'm probably not going to bet it whatsoever, but if you're going to put a gun to my head, give me the over and give me Raiders money line. We have a good matchup here going all the way to Miami for this one. We have the 49ers versus the Dolphins. San Francisco being favored by 1 point and the over-under being 44.5. 49ers are coming off a loss against the Rams. They have lost 4 of the last 5 games. They still have a ton of injuries. There's too many to list. The big one being their left tackle. He's out. I believe he's more out for because he had a tragic thing happen to his family. But without Trent Williams, they have a losing record, so they really do miss him. The 49ers have failed to cover 4 out of the last 5 games. The Dolphins are coming off a loss to the Texans. And, they have a lot of weapons, but, I think people are finally not buying the head coach of the Dolphins. What is he, Mike McDaniel? I forget Mike Daniels, I think the head coach's name, whatever. I think people are not buying to his system. He's been a head coach for the Dolphins for a long time now, and nothing's really produced out of it, okay? He has all the weapons in the world. Waddle, who's questionable for this game, keep an eye for that. A-Chain, Mozart, they got a good tight end in Smith. And they have Tyreek Hill, one of the best wide receivers in the game. And they have a top 10 defense, or it's definitely the top 15 for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's the top 10. So, when I look at both these teams, they've both been disappointing this year. I know Tua was out and the 49ers were fighting their injuries, but they've been a disappointment this year. So I believe this game, they're going to have a lot of passing. The 49ers running back Guerrero, he's out for this game. Everybody knows Mason and CMC, they're both out too. So they're going to be relying on Taylor at running back. I'm not buying it. I think there's going to be a lot of passing by both teams. And I think the best play here is the over 44.5. And each of the Dolphins' last 5 home games, they have gone over their total points. So I think the best bet here is over 44.5. And our Sunday night football game, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Dallas Cowboys. Buccaneers being favored by 4 points and the over-under being 48. Buccaneers are coming off a 4-game winning streak. They also came off a blowout loss against the Chargers. Baker Mayfield's playing great. The guy's top 5 in all passing yards, like passing touchdowns. He's having a great year. This is the Baker Mayfield that everybody was waiting for when he was drafted in the first round. So great to see from Baker Mayfield. They haven't lost a game since Mike Evans has been healthy. And like I said, Mike Evans coming back opens the field for everybody else. K. Dotton, the other guy from Washington, the other rookie wide receiver. And it opens the lanes for their good running back duo and Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. So it just opens everything for everybody. The Bucs are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games, and the Bucs are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games against the NFC East. Let's talk about the Cowboys. The Cowboys are coming off a win against the Panthers. I told you guys, take Cowboys money line. The Panthers being favorites was absurd. Also, go look at Cooper Rush's numbers. Cooper Rush, for a backup quarterback, is having a great year. He's looking pretty good. He's one of the better backups in this league. He's doing decent, so don't sleep on Cooper Rush. Rico, the running back, had a great game last week, rushed over 120 yards. He's really taking control of that number 1 running back spot. They have CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks and Ferguson back at tight end, so they got some weapons on that team. Michael Parsons is always looking good on the defense as well, so he's finally healthy. Let's talk about some statistics here. Cowboys are 4-9 against the spread in their last 13 games, and they're 1-8 against the spread in their last home game. So they're not covering any home games that well. With this game, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I just truly do. The Cowboys and Buccaneers are going to get in a shootout. Cooper Rush can score on this Buccaneers defense. The Buccaneers defense, and more particular, their secondary is Swiss cheese. You can pass on this Buccaneers secondary like nobody's business. So I expect the CeeDee Lamb to get a touchdown. I expect Cooper Rush to have a good game against this secondary. But I also believe that Baker Mayfield, that guy, he gives 110%. Mike Evans, K. Dotton, their good running back core they have there. I also think they're going to put up points. So I think the best play is the over 48 in this good game. Well, guys, those were my predictions for all the Saturday and Sunday games for Week 16. If you want to catch my Thursday night football games or my Monday night football games, just look at my TikTok or look at my YouTube shorts or my Instagram. I like to put those games out, get them out quick to you. So just check those out. They'll be in the description below. So let's get after it. My best bets for Week 16. I went 2-1 in Week 15. I thought I was going to go 3-0, but the Commanders dropped the ball and they almost let the Saints come back and win in the second half when they were up 17 points, by the way. So they dropped the ball on that one. So let's get after it. Week 16 for my best bets. And my first best bet, I'm giving out a little early, is Monday Night Football. The Packers to cover the 14 points. The Packers are rolling right now. You saw what they did to Seattle in Seattle. They rolled Seattle. They blew them out. And I think they're going to have no trouble against the Saints like the Commanders did. The Packers have too much firepower on their team. I think this is going to get ugly really quick. I think that they're going to put 30 points against the Saints. The Saints are going to have a backup quarterback. It's going to be Spencer Rattler or that Hunter guy, whoever the hell those guys are. But the Packers are going to roll the Saints. So give me the Packers to cover the 14 points. And for my second best bet, I like the over 46.5 in the Patriots versus Bills game. I think the Bills are going to extend this streak of scoring over 30 points. They're going to extend it on the Patriots. I think they're going to get 30 to 34 points against them. But I also think the Patriots are going to score at least 2 touchdowns against the Bills. The Bills, their defense hasn't been looking so great. The last 2 previous teams have put a lot of points against the Bills. And I think the Patriots could at least muster 2 touchdowns or even more against this Bills defense. And especially if the Bills are blowing them out and they put the backups in, the Patriots might get some garbage points. And Drake May does like using his legs a lot, and I think that will extend extend some plays. And the Patriots do have some weapons. They're not without weapons. But I think the Bills are going to put up over 30-something points on them. And I think the Patriots will do enough to score at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. And this game will go over the 46.5. So give me over 46.5 as my second best bet. And for my third best bet, I like the Bengals to cover the 7.5 against the Browns. I think the Browns are making a bad mistake starting DTR. DTR cannot pass the ball, so I don't think he's going to be able to get the ball to his weapons. I don't think he's going to be able to throw down the field with Jerry Jeudy. At least Winston could do that. He could throw the ball 50, 60 yards. DTR can't do that. DTR is going to be using his legs. The Browns are probably going to be turning to a running game, and they probably just want to lose out and get a good draft pick. That's my feeling, or my opinion, if you will. And you know what? I think the Bengals, Joe Burrow, he's a competitor. You saw he was so pissed off that he had to put 80 points against the Titans. So I think he's going to want to blow out this team. And the Bengals just have a really good offense. They have arguably the best wide receiver in the game. And Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. And they're in a 2-game winning streak. So give me the Bengals to cover the 7.5. And for my last best bet, I like the over in the Buccaneers and Dallas Cowboys game. The Buccaneers secondary is Swiss cheese, and Cooper Rush is not having a bad year. He has 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, so he's not turned the ball over. CeeDee Lamb is having a quiet, good year. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. The running back, Rico, he's having a great year. He has 880 yards rushing. Now you know the Buccaneers are going to put up points. They have Mike Evans and Kate Otten, a really good 1-2 punch, and they have a good running back core and Rashad White and Bucky Irving. And Baker Mayfield, the guy's having a fantastic year. He's a top 5 in passing yards and passing touchdowns, and he has over 23 passing touchdowns. The guy's having a great year. So I think this game is going to be a shootout. So give me the over in the Buccaneers and Cowboys game. Well, guys, that is it. Those are my predictions. Those are my best bets. Hopefully we have a great profitable week, just like we had in week 15. Just a quick reminder, week 15, I went 12-4 against the spread. 12-4, great profitable week for me. Hopefully you tell me that was a profitable week for you. We made some cash. So let's hope week 16 we have that great of a week as well. So guys, please like and subscribe. Small channel that goes a long way, costs you nothing, and I'm giving these predictions for free. I do my homework. I love doing this. I love sports in general. So guys, a like and subscribe will go a long way. Just a quick reminder, again, you want to catch my Thursday night and my Monday night football picks, those will be on my YouTube shorts and TikToks and my Instagram. So if you want to catch those, go and check those out. They'll be in the description. So guys, let's have a fun Sunday. Let's make some money. And I will always see you guys